Good afternoon, my fellow Tottenham fans, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur and your boy, Big Dave. Before we get into why we're actually here today, let me know how you're feeling after the weekend's result in the comment section below. Me, personally, I feel very let down. I don't think we've done anywhere near enough going forward to be able to come out with the 3 points. A lot of very safe passing, 5-yard passing, congesting up the middle. And I understand the reasoning behind it, that the idea behind the short passes is that you don't get the ball turned over and you don't get hit on the counter as often. And I think we employed that very sort of safe tactic to try and counter what Wolves done to us in the reverse leg at their place. However, it didn't work because we still end up getting countered and scored on and still lost the game. But for me, I feel very let down in terms of what we actually done to try and break down that Wolves team. Everything was very safe. Everything was playing across in front of them. What do we pay Madison for? What do we pay Son for? What we paying Keeley for? And what we paying Richie for? You know, at the end of the day, if you don't shoot and you don't put balls into the box to try and cause a bit of chaos, you don't score goals. And it's that simple. And we got caught out. 2 weeks now to work on it. Let's see how we come back against Palace after this 2-week break. But the reason why we are here is to find out how our players out on loan for temporary homes for the season have got on. So let's get into it. As always, we do like to start with my guy, Alfie Phillips. 2 games to report to you this week, and we will start with the one on Wednesday night where he did impress on the right side over back three, completing 77 minutes in Plymouth's 2-2 draw at home against Coventry City before being taken off due to muscle soreness and cramps. On the night, he won 100% of his ground duels and 4 of his 5 aerial duels, while he also completed 81% of his passes, made 4 clearances, 1 interception, and a blocked shot. He was given a 7 in the Plymouth Live player ratings, and here's what they had to say on his performance. This was a 7th successive Argyle start for the 18-year-old Tottenham defender since he joined last month. And as with the previous ones, the fact he's still so young and relatively inexperienced did not show out at all against a very talented Coventry attacking unit. Phillips was also back in action on Saturday, starting his 8th game in a row for Plymouth since he joined last month in Plymouth's 2-0 loss to Leeds. Phillips had a new role for Argyle as well, lining up in the centre of a defensive trio rather than on the right as he had been in his previous 7 games since joining last month. Phillips produced a performance beyond his young age, gave a good count of himself, matching the Leeds forwards when it came to physicality and determination. Phillips completed 90 minutes, winning 3 of his 4 ground duels, 2 of his 3 aerial duels, completing 82% of his passes, making 4 clearances, 3 block shots and 2 tackles. After the Leeds game, Plymouth manager Ian Foster gave his assessment of Argyle's performance so far of on-loan Tottenham teenager Alfie Phillips, and he had to say, "We are really pleased with Ashley. Moving him centrally gave us an opportunity to limit his distance. So when you play centrally in a back 3, you do less running than you do as an outside centre-back." It was a little bit tactical and a little bit physical with that decision. I thought Phillips performed really well. He's just going to get better and better. It's our job while he's here to continue to develop him, make him a better player, give him the experience he's getting. But his performances have been fabulous. He's capable of playing as a right or left-sided centre-back in a back 4 or anywhere across the back 3. Ashley has struggled late in some games because he's getting muscle soreness and cramps. So the opportunity to move him centrally, we know he's capable of. He understands the role. It's slightly different than playing on the side. He's a young player who is capable of taking on tactical information and then implementing it on the grass. Now, as you can see, very, very high praise there from Ian Foster, highlighting Alfie Phillips' versatility to different positions and roles, which also goes to show how good Phillips is, that he can adapt to them while also taking on the information. It's also good to see that Foster has protected Phillips, taking him off early in some games when he was walking a tightrope on a booking and managing his minutes because of muscle soreness and cramp, but also while developing Phillips into a fine player with a big future. And that's all you can ask for when you send these guys out on loan. And lastly, just to do with Alfie Phillips, he has impressed for Plymouth, but his disciplinary record, including 4 yellow cards in 7 games, is maybe something to keep an eye on for all them people who think Romero is way too aggressive. Moving on to Phillips' partner in crime, and that is Alfie Devine. And again, another 2 games to bring to you here. Devine completed the full 90 minutes, having a hand in the build-up to both Argyle goals in the 2-2 draw against Coventry City on Wednesday night. After a slightly disappointing start to his loan spell from Tottenham, this was much better from Devine. He put in his best performance for Plymouth today as he showed signs of starting to settle into Plymouth's side as one of the 2 number 10s. Devine got on the ball and when in possession, his use of it was accurate and positive. For Argyle's first goal, Devine dropped into a position to receive the ball, which was a criticism aimed at him last week. So already shows that he is learning. He took an unreal touch and then a nice turn as well, then threaded the ball through the eye of a needle with a perfectly weighted pass to get Plymouth on their way. And then for the second goal, again, it was Devine who transitioned the ball from a deeper position with one touch and a pass to get Plymouth in an advanced position, something a few of the Tottenham midfielders could learn to do instead of playing it safe. Devine was impressive throughout with 1 assist, 3 shots, and completed 100% of his dribbles, while he also managed to complete 81% of his passes. Defensively, he was just as impressive as he won 9 of his 13 ground duels and made 2 tackles and 1 interception. He was also fouled 4 times, which demonstrates just how much of a handful he is for the opposition's defenders. Here is what Plymouth Live player ratings had to say on him after the game. They gave him a match rating of a 7 and said, after a slightly disappointing start to his loan spell from Tottenham, this was much better from the 19-year-old kid as he showed signs of starting to settle into Ian Foster's side as one of the 2 number 10s alongside Morgan Whittaker. Devine got on the ball more and when in possession, his use of it was accurate and positive. Speaking to Plymouth's in-house media after the game, here is what Devine had to say about his own performance when being interviewed by Plymouth's official club channel. For us in the front 3, maybe we need to take more of our chances. On the flip side, I think the goals that we scored today were very good, so that's a positive to take. He also recalled his goals and he said, I heard a shout from Rands and I was about to play it out wide. Then I had a little look over my shoulder and saw him run through. Credit to him. It was a great run and a great first touch. He then picked out Morgs in the box, who's always going to score from there. The second one was a clearance. It just fell to me, and Meeks had fresh legs, so I thought I'd give him the ball. Again, credit to him putting a great ball in the box, where if the defender doesn't put in his own net, our striker does. Now, interestingly enough, Devine also gave a very honest assessment of how his loan spell has gone so far, also to the club's in-house media. And he says, I think the first 3 games I've been quite disappointed with myself because I know that's not me. I know Fozzie, which he is the nickname for Ian Foster, the Plymouth manager. I know his system quite well and the way he wants to play, but trying to adapt to a new league and a new position at the same time. I struggled in the first 3 games and I know that. I think today's performance reassures me a bit that I'm getting used to it and I'm getting a lot more comfortable. I think today just shows that I'm getting a lot more comfortable in and around the team and especially on the pitch. Once you get the connections and the bonds on the pitch, it makes your life a lot easier when you are there. Obviously, you can't get that without the players helping you. I thought tonight was an opportunity for me to start and show what I can do, and hopefully I did that. Very honest assessment there from Alfie Devine. I absolutely love that. You know, there's too much delusion in football nowadays with some of these players. They never, ever look at themselves in the mirror. They're always looking to blame other people for why things have gone wrong or maybe haven't worked out the way they hope. Well, Alfie Devine has took responsibility here, and I absolutely love it. Also, as you can see here on the right-hand side, after the game, he was also put up for one of 4 nominations for Plymouth's man of the match. He also had a couple of shots as well, which sort of went wide of the target. Maybe a little area he could be a bit more clinical on, which is hitting the target from distance. Devine was also back in action on Saturday in Plymouth's 2-0 loss to Leeds, playing 90 minutes, putting in a much quieter performance than the one he displayed in midweek. But that was to be expected as Plymouth are fighting the drop while Leeds are pushing for automatic promotion. So here we'll be sort of looking to see how disciplined he is rather than how he affected the game going forward. And Plymouth Live gave him a rating of 6 and had to say, neither of our guys' 2 number 10s were able to get on the ball in the final third as much as they would have wanted. But Devine did play his part in the Pilgrims trying to stifle Leeds as much as he could. The fact United had just 2 shots on target, although they also hit the post and the crossbar, suggests he was reasonably successful at that. Ian Foster also interestingly gave his assessment of the performance of on loan a teenager Alfie Devine at Argyle so far, and here's what Fozzie had to say. Alfie's performances have been very good with and without the ball. He has got a really good tactical brain, a really clear understanding of what we were asking him to do and how to do it, and he applies himself brilliantly. It's getting used to each other and the people. We really start to understand his qualities, how he can receive the ball in between the lines on the half turn and be positive, and that's exactly what we've seen against Coventry midweek. He says he's a lovely footballer. I've worked an awful lot with Alfie. I know what he's capable of, and we are starting to see it now. Today against Leeds, he was quieter, probably because of the level of the opposition, so you get less time on the ball. It's good to see that Plymouth's boss clearly sees Devine making more improvement as his teammates get used to him. But also, it's interesting that he's decided to put him in that number 10 role. Could this guy be the answer to James Maddison if he carries injuries next season? Could this guy be the backup going forward if he can have a real strong end to the campaign? Also, let's not forget that Alfie Devine has had to adapt. He's now playing as an attacking midfielder again after previously spending time in a slightly deeper role for Port Vale, but also acclimatised to a new division. Devine is starting to find his feet and show that he belongs at this level. It will be fascinating to see how the exciting Spurs duo continue to develop over the next couple of years and what Postecoglou's plans for the pair are next season. Before we move on, though, let me know in the comment section below what you make of Ashley Phillips being pushed into the centre of the back three, a new role for him. For me, I'm absolutely all for it. I'm buzzing to see what this kid can do. And it doesn't matter where you seem to play him across that back line, he's able to perform. And also Alfie Devine now being played in one of his favourite positions in that number 10, looking to make things happen. Let us know on these guys' new positions in the comment section below. Now, moving on to my fellow countryman, and that is Josh Keeley, who's on loan at Barnet. Josh Keeley made his 7th straight start for Barnet, completing 90 minutes in Barnet's 4-2 victory over Fylde in their hunt for promotion out of the National League. First goal that Keeley conceded came from a penalty. He dived to his right and the taker put it down the middle. Now, this is a few penalties that Keeley has faced. He hasn't got anywhere near them yet either. Maybe a little something that he can try to improve on. The second goal Keeley conceded came from a well-worked short corner that was worked into a shooting opportunity from the corner of the box that ended up taking a deflection just before it was arriving at Josh Keeley and ended up going through his legs. Now, look, I do agree there was a lot of body sort of in front of Keeley, but I do think he should have saved it. I think his reflexes need to be a lot sharper than that, and I'd be disappointed if that was the carry-off. But it was an afternoon where there were quite a few efforts on Keeley's goal. Not really much that tested them. A lot of them sort of hit the post. I think they hit the post a couple of times, and a few of them just sort of whistled over the bar as well. So Keeley didn't actually have too much to do on the day, despite maybe what the scoreline suggests. It's also understood that Tottenham have already activated a clause in Keeley's contract and extended it by a further year. The new deal now runs until the 30th of June 2025. The club are absolutely delighted with the progress the Ireland under-21 international has been making whilst out on loan at Barnet. And for a player with no previous experience of senior football to move to a National League side and become their instant number one is very, very impressive. So keep up the good work there, Josh Keeley. Now, moving on to a guy who is starting to find a little bit of form after being left out of the team recently, and that is Matthew Craig, who scored his first goal in senior football and completed 74 minutes in a midfield 2 in Doncaster Rovers' 5-1 away win over Grimsby Town. On the 72nd minute is where Craig's goal came for Doncaster, and he scored their 4th of the afternoon. The ball was laid off to Craig, who picked his spot in the corner from 15 yards, and it was a very tidy finish from the guy. Craig put in a display he could be proud of, scoring 1 goal, completing 77% of his passes, whilst making 2 clearances, 3 tackles, winning 7 of his 12 ground duels. And one area Doncaster manager said he would improve Craig on when signing him was on the amount of goals and assists. He said he needed to bring that to his game and add that from the midfield. And that is now 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 2 games. So it's great to see that maybe the hard work from the manager and Craig is both paying off as he continues in this vein. And the reality is, if he continues in this vein, he will come back to Spurs a much more improved and well-rounded midfielder. Now, moving on to Troy Parrott, who seems to have half of Europe chasing his signature, according to reports, and he played 90 minutes as Excelsior lost 4-2 to Sparta in the Rotterdam derby. It was a very quiet night for Parrott. He had no shots, no crosses, and only completed 50% of his passes and one unsuccessful take on attempt. As you can see there by all the stats, it was just a poor night all around from Troy Parrott. Really struggled to get himself in the game despite completing the 90 minutes and not the performance he would have wanted, especially with the extent of interest that was revealed in him last week. Moving on to another striker that is probably hunting down a spot in that Spurs squad along with Troy Parrott, and that is Alejo Véliz. Véliz did make his debut for Sevilla, playing 9 minutes from the bench in their 0-0 draw away at Valencia, as he continues to step up his recovery from the knee injury he picked up at the start of January. Now, another little story here for you guys on Véliz. When Sevilla boss had given their players a couple of days off recently, the on-loan Tottenham man reported to the gym in an effort to step up his rehabilitation. I absolutely love that dedication from the kid. Could have easily took the days off, gone out swanning around, but he's the smartest guy in the room. He says, guys, you can go and do that. I'll catch you later. I'm heading in to do my rehabilitation, looking after his career, looking after himself, even though he's out in a complete alien country to him, and he's only 19, 20 years of age. Absolutely unbelievable dedication from the kid, and that will serve him well, that sort of mentality. Now, moving on to Joe Rodon, who dampened Alfie Devine and Ashley Phillips' day on the weekend, and he played 90 minutes as Leeds made the trip to the South Coast as they beat Ashley Phillips, Plymouth Argyle 2-0. He was given a 7 in the Leeds live player rating, saying he stood tall for aerial clearances and blocks when they were needed. An afternoon, Leeds needed their fighters like Rodon in the trenches on a wet day from home. It's also worth noting that Rodon got into a couple of heated arguments with his own players in this game. He gave Glenn Kamara an absolute runnerkill after Rodon's own pass got cut out to create a half chance for Plymouth. It seemed that Rodon maybe was suggesting to Kamara to give him a better option or a better angle to make that pass. I don't know whether that's good leadership or whether that's Eric Dyer-esque, where he's blaming everyone else for his own mistakes. And then also Archie Gray and Rodon got into a heated exchange. Archie Gray is very highly rated, by the way, as Plymouth were able to exploit space on the Leeds right immediately after Leeds had scored. Rodon eventually held his hands up to placate the youngster. Again, seems to like blaming other people. I'm not sure if I want him back at this club, if that's the attitude he's going to be sort of displaying. Some would maybe argue that he just looks at home and he's becoming a leader at Leeds. Very interested to see what happens there. But I know they're very keen to sign him permanently if they do gain promotion. And they don't actually have a buy clause in the deal already, so they will have to come and negotiate with Tottenham. So we should get maximum fees for that. And now just to give you a quick round the grounds to see how everyone else got on. Not much on them, of course. Japhet Tanganga watched Millwall's 4-0 midweek loss to Ipswich on the bench, but he was restored to the starting lineup and played 90 minutes in Millwall's 2-0 loss to Sheffield Wednesday. Didn't actually do anything, wasn't really too involved in anything going forward or defensively, Japhet Tanganga. But he was brought in to try and help stabilise Millwall's backline, and he's not been able to do that. Of course, Millwall trying to fight a bit of relegation, but even with Tanganga in there, hasn't really made too much of a difference. They're still conceding goals very, very easily and left, right and centre. Having been sent out on loan twice this season, though, with Tanganga, it does not look like he is part of the plans by Postecoglou. I think he will be sold this summer. Sergio Reguilon also played 85 minutes for Brentford in their 4-1 defeat to Liverpool. Reguilon did cost Brentford the first goal as he failed to deal with just a long clearance from a set piece. He failed to jump with Diego Jota, who outmuscled him really, and ended up going on and getting the first goal. A really tough day for Reguilon down that side. Now on to Tanguy Ndombele. He didn't even make the bench for Galatasaray's game this weekend. Shock. And then Jed Spence, for the second week running, was an unused substitute for Genoa. Wonders the manager already getting a bit fed up with him, a bit like Daniel Farke did as well. I wonder what's going on there. I'll do a bit of digging and diving and come back with more for you guys next week. But that's it from the loan report. Please let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts on everything that I've said to you here on how these players are developing. couple of new positions for some players. Some players already falling down the pecking order and out of favor. So give me your comments in the comment section below. If you do enjoy these, please smash that like button. It's a real boost to and help to us in the algorithm. And if you're new, smash that subscribe button. But guys, that's it for me. I'll see you back here very, very soon. As always, come on, you Spurs. And despite the loss in the big hands, we trust. We never stop.